Welcome to another episode of Erik Wait Whiskey Studies. And in this video, going to do a review of the Port Askaig Islay Single Malt Scotch Whisky, 110 proof. So this video is part of a series I'm doing on independent peated Islay whiskeys. This is an absolutely superb whiskey. I think it's at the right price. But before I get into it, let me tell you a little bit about it. It's bottled by Elixir House in London. It's a single malt from an undisclosed Islay distillery. It's aged in ex-bourbon casks. It's non-chill filtered, has natural color. It's a non-age statement, bottled at 55% alcohol by volume, and sells for about $75. So Port Askaig is the name of a distillery. It's the name of a port. There are two major ports on Islay. In the south, it is Port Ellen, and in the north, it is Port Askaig. If you go to Islay and you take a ferry over there, you're probably going to head south to Port Ellen, visit the southern distilleries, then head to the central part of Islay, which is Bowmore, and then hit the northern distilleries. The most northern being Bunnahabhain, then Ardnahoe, Killala, and then just below that is Port Askaig, and you can take a ferry there back to the mainland. So this whiskey is named after the northern port. Since the closest distilleries are Bunnahabhain, Ardnahoe, and Killala, 90% of their spirit goes into blends or is sourced out. It's not hard to guess where this came from since the closest distillery is Killala. But even if I wasn't told, this name, Port Askaig, being so close to Killala, just on the nose and on the palate, it comes across very much like Killala. So it doesn't have the characteristics of Ardbeg. It doesn't have the fruit characteristics. It doesn't have that sort of mud characteristics. It doesn't have the intense seaweed, medicinal, iodine characteristics of Laphroaig, and it's a lot peater than anything I think I've ever had from Bowmore. Very different than, say, anything from peated whiskey such as the Moyne bottlings from Bunnahabhain, or say Port Charlotte from Bruichladdich. So it is very plainly, very easily to figure out that this is a Killala. The one characteristic about it on the negative side is, and I say this about a lot of Killalas, and I have several of them. I have the 8, the 12, I even have an unpeated Killala, is while they're very, very good, and I like them very much, there always seems to be a certain element about them that's missing. Like they fall a little bit short, like they're intended to be part of something else, part of a blend. So while it's very good in terms of what it has, it always seems like some other attributes need to be added to it. So what am I getting on it? Well, first of all, natural color, non-chill filtered. It's a real light and pale in color. On the nose, the smoke and the peat is straight up front. I get a lot of sort of milk chocolatey character, a little bit of nuttiness. Fruit characteristics, probably maybe a little bit of apple, maybe a little bit of stone fruit, but the peat, the smoke, and the chocolate, and a little bit of nuttiness, and there's a hint of sea breeze there as well, a little bit of saltiness, really masks all of that. On the palate, really silky mouth coating. I like the texture of it. Sweet up front, goes a little bit drier towards the back, and a little bit of that saltiness and nuttiness on the back end. Get that milk chocolate in the middle. The smoke character reminds me of a marshmallow. You've held it over the fire, perhaps you're out camping, and it gets just a little bit too dark. That's the character of the smoke on this whiskey. Do get a little bit of apple, a little bit of tropical character, perhaps a little bit of dried pineapple. There's also sort of a butterscotch character to it. It doesn't have a great range of flavors, like flavor after flavor, a different flavor after another flavor. But what it has it very intensely and very richly. This is a rich whiskey. It does unbelievable with chocolate. You have a little chocolate, perhaps some leftover chocolate like I do from Christmas with this, and it becomes dangerous really quick because it's so good. You could just do dram after dram, another chocolate, and another chocolate, and another chocolate. There is a reason why I do not keep chocolate in my house, because it doesn't stick around very long. So, the fact that it has a little bit more ABV than your typical Caol Ila, I like that. It has a nice punch. Basically, if you're looking for something close to a cask strength Caol Ila, here you go. I love the richness of this whiskey. Recently, I was tasting a bunch of American single malts. While they were very nice, you know, you spend some time with some New World single malts, and then you go back to almost just about anything from Islay, and you just go, wow, what a huge difference. It just makes you long more for a Scotch, you know, something coming from a different climate. I like the depth. I love the mouthfeel. I love the texture of this whiskey. It's a really beautiful whiskey. I just wish it had more complexity, more layers of flavor, you know, maybe a little bit more age, or perhaps just a little bit of a sherry cask to give it some, you know, variety in there. But other than what it has, I really like. What I'm going to give it in terms of a score, I'm going to go solid 90 points. A solid 90 points, and at $75. There are a lot of whiskeys out there over $100 that this would absolutely blow away. So I really like this whiskey, and this whiskey does very well on ice. In fact, I find the cask characteristics of the whiskey, the fruit characteristics, the more of the butterscotch character, is going to really actually become more intense on ice if you cool it down. So if you want something to put on ice, or perhaps you're looking for something to make even a peated cocktail, this is absolutely a killer whiskey. So if you're looking for something that's like Caol Ila but with a lot more oomph, then I highly recommend checking out the Port Askaig Islay Single Malt Scotch Whisky 110 proof. Alright, that's it for this video. If you subscribe to this channel, I want to thank you very much. If you've not yet subscribed but you like watching my videos, I want to ask you that you would subscribe and ring the bell to be notified when I go live or post a new video. And if you're one of my patrons, I want to thank you very much for supporting this channel. Until next time, cheers. Hey, don't forget to subscribe and check out these other whiskey videos.